The third thing is, okay, you have assessed, you have made an offer, the person joins, right? Then what is your day 1 to day 90, your onboarding process, right? A person is coming from a different industry background altogether, used to a different culture. How is that? How are organizations going to make that person comfortable within the organization, right? How are they going to rejig their entire onboarding process to bring that comfort level, actually, right? um, I'm just going through the employee journey,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
right?
right, right, right. Exactly.
Totally.
Yes.
So because all this contributes to attracting the best talent, actually, right? So if you have a success story saying that X person joined 10 years back and he is now the CEO of the organization, you can bring in the best talent from outside the industry today, right? So you are able to show that success story. So that entire journey is very important, right? So that's then that through that journey, if you look at it again, the training and the reskilling. I won't say reskilling. You have the skills, but how do those skills apply to the tech industry, right? How does that? How can you do that? So the entire training programs may need to be rejigged also, actually, right? To ensure that the skills that you're hired for are made productive and giving you a result, right? So which traditionally, if a tech company is not hiring from a non-tech background, they may find it very difficult to do that, actually. And I think lastly, I think culture, right? Company culture, being inclusive, okay, is very important, actually. So inclusivity in this case means that people around you, the teams around you, the manager uh, who is going to be managing the person, the talent which is coming in, has to be open to the fact that this person is bringing in a different skill set, and how do I leverage that skill set, right? So it's all about how do you build that company culture and that inclusiveness within the company culture to welcome people whom you may not be used to when you come in, actually, right? So I think these are probably, if an organization can take care of all of these things, then you can talk about attracting. And it's not only attracting the talent, it is actually making use of that talent, actually, right? So at the end of it, so yeah.
A quick point to add on, right? In tech industries, the non-tech roles are not like an ongoing role that we hire for. So they are one in a few. Training your talent acquisition team to kind of how to deal with TA is as a totally different piece. That's where probably experts like you will come in. How to kind of navigate the whole thing within the non-tech recruitment space, so that we can take help of folks like you. One is that. And then employer branding is a very very contested space, okay? Because all the while, as in probably 5 years back, it's been that you give a job, you give them salary, it's good enough for people to come and join you.
Right.
Okay, so that's it. Now only you have this great place to work for, then you have this glass door, and you have employer branding. The employer branding is also very misunderstood, because what happens is the HR has no clue about the marketing bit of it. Okay, and the marketing guy is coming from a customer facing angle, and then thinks employer branding is just putting up a stall in 2 3 conventions.
Right.
If you put a stall in an Indian convention, it's employer branding. If you put a stall in a convention outside India, then it is customer marketing. That is the demarcation that I see. So that way, what do you think is a great way to brand employers, and what are the employers uh, what should they be doing rather to attract more of these talent? What have you seen work best?
So you need a change from that, the traditional way of thinking. A HR person is, or a talent acquisition professional within an organization, I think you have organizations now which take employer branding very seriously. You have separate teams within organizations just focused on employer branding, actually, right? You have cross functional expertise, marketing people coming in and saying that how do you build that employer branding, actually, right? But let's say in smaller organizations, you may not have that kind of a focus. That is where I think the cross training, cross functional expertise between a HR and a marketing to understand how they can kind of work together. The HR has to bring their point of view, and the marketing has to also bring their point of view in terms of how they can execute that employer branding. So yeah, I mean, you know these uh, uh, these could be ways that you could approach this kind of a scenario, actually. But it cannot be just just like set up a stall and get it done. It has to be a holistic experience, actually, right? It has to cover the entire employee experience that is there through that that selection. Even while talking to a recruiter, if the recruiter asks not an intelligent question to a candidate, the candidate gets switched off, actually. Okay. uh, and so it's very important for the recruiter to ask an intelligent question, right? Just common sense, it's nothing else, actually. And once you lose the candidate, he's not going to come back, actually. Whatever you may offer him, the best salary and all that, he needs to know that he's talking to somebody intelligent on the other side, actually. Okay. So that's those are the touch points are very important. The key touch points are very important. Which is when we talk about marketing, you talk about your customer touch points. When you talk about recruitment, you're talking about your candidate and recruitment team touch points, actually, right? So these touch points are important. And when you talk about HR, you talk about touch points through the entire employee life cycle, actually. So all that makes the difference in terms of building a brand. It's not just about the Glassdoor ratings. At the end of it, you know, HRs can also just call up and say, "Hey, you're my friend. Put a nice Glassdoor rating,"
Right.
right? But that is, I think people have moved beyond that. It's not just about Glassdoor rating. It's about the trust that you are built as an organization, as an employer brand, actually.